So here's how there's no right or wrong, really, and no good or bad. And this is crazy because you can't really undo the work of the failed occultist. And they act like they're not trying to do anything for an effect, like they want to have no impact, right? Like you're wrong because you're like making a mark. So it's like almost like a transgression. Like we're not trying to have no effect, right? And no, actually you are trying to have an effect. But everyone has to demystify things and then remystify. That's an occultist, right? And we consider occultists in line with, like, evil and everything, because you're hiding something. But you could be hiding something for a good cause, like it's to be rediscovered in a way, because I don't master logic and common sense and then summarize all of the mysteries to lay them for the next person, along with the responsibility for all the death and everything. That's really what failed occultists do, and the damage being done they actually can't reverse. So to figure out whether or not your actions are in line with what is promoting your genealogy, you have to die, and everybody will be judged. Like, okay, Judgment Day, raised and looked at and judged all together as a single race, to see which actions are right for the time that you live in, because that determines what is murder and self-defense, and it determines what is protecting the home or transgressing against the den, and you're trying to trying to disrespect the foundation of culture, so to disrupt where it gets its hearthstone, the hearth, right? And you're probably wondering, why are you saying all these things, right? Like, do you know anybody who's like, you can't really reach people who they can do it from a distance. They can hit you up from a distance, and it's a corrosion of conformity or something, and getting everyone to assist in the manufacturing of consent and everything, since we went out of the everything provided, like God used to provide everything, right? So we're deterministic now. It opens us up to esotericism and austerity. Determinism, then austerity, and then we have to become esoteric, because there's fake austerity, which is like false outrage and false piety stuff, right? You'll like start rotting from the lips like a fucking rotten fish. Nobody wants that. You're trying to avoid that if you have a little bit of common sense, because like somebody who has too much common sense, it's not a thing. So all right, I don't want to tell you what someone's told me, so I don't want to just bust it down to you because I've heard it. But excuse me, I have a regular sniffles, run-of-the-mill sniffles. Okay. So that you can't. So it's like you see in the failed occultists what looks like accomplishments, and then they want you to want what they have, like what they have, right? And it's hard to outline who's a failed occultist, because apparently you can't undo. You know what I mean? That's why patience is a virtue, because who are you to say that their ways will not come to light and everything, right? It's just the public has to become disturbed before anything ended, right? And then the way that you go about disturbing them, it could either, be a good thing or a bad thing for an occultist, right? So when one side goes down the way that they're supposed to, when they trip, right, and fall on their face, then people will say, haha, you're an occultist and everything. But that could go across the board. Why shouldn't you have a bullshit detector? I'm not saying everybody should go out and learn demonology and necromancy and shit. So maybe it's like a way to tell you that you can shortcut, like, you know, you don't have to transform completely. So nobody has to sacrifice, toil, suffer, or die or anything. And then people will choose that way, but then it's a club or something, and then eventually they, you know, like the aristocracy will burn off a few of their celebrities and torch them. Okay, that there's things that they do to make it easier for them to get torched, but that's why they like to rock them to sleep and make them comfortable, too comfortable and too confident, right? And it's like part of their mind doesn't grow up, so they're playing childish games like pee-pee in the punch bowl. And a grown-up, just for an argument, you can't trust the punch, yet there might be pee-pee in there. And then that's the point when it goes from we're playing games to fucking I'm gonna teach you a lesson. This isn't a Harvard extension, but to teach you a lesson right now. And it'll be like lessons that you could keep it, you could take it to the fucking grave, and you could transform because you finally did, you know, what you pushed through this. And there's like everybody knowing that the bell tolls for the living who still has to push through it. That's why the Christ is sent. That's why Jesus must have been sent, right? I know his name isn't Jupiter Zeus, but I know his name isn't fucking Yahweh. All this, like, you're not gonna play like if it's Yahweh, why isn't it Yaqub? Because they both came from Hebrews, and fucking neither one of them, like, it's just that's just a natural expression of the body reaching climax. Just like Osset and impregnated by a wooden phallus when she couldn't reconstruct the body of Osiris, so she found a penis made out of wood, right? And she was able to successfully impregnate because gods are different from humans. Osset. That's why Satan is a feminine, divine feminine principle. Like she set Osset on, sat on. And then at the end of the pre-birth, post-death cycle, your kundalini burn up. It gives off light and soot, like ash, or what would be described as light and dark forces. And then this just gets reworked into a bunch of mystery system, hierarchical mystery systems with a protagonist who does something for the time that you live in, so that your actions fall in line with then an occultist that promotes the culture, right? Versus one that would assimilate and impersonate or mimic and just try to clone and destroy. Hence, there's the that's where the impetus comes for everybody to become an occultist. As far as how many are needed in society or something like that. Like, that's not something that somebody says a rule or something. You couldn't stop there from being a explosion or revival of a religiosity or scientism or something like that. It's just like we just kind of ebb and flow with it.